I want to start by giving you a little bit of context, right? OBRA 93, or the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1993, was passed in order to prevent people from making themselves impoverished in order to qualify for Medicaid, which is a means tested benefit, right? You make yourself impoverished, you qualify for the benefit. They didn't really like that very much. So they passed this law. So you're going to find it at 42 USC 1396P. That statute establishes that the transfer of assets within the look back period creates a transfer penalty. That's the law that most of us are familiar with, right? You apply for Medicaid, they look at your assets for the last 5 years to see if you've transferred or given away anything. And if you have, you get a transfer penalty. Fine. But when they originally passed the law, there really wasn't any carve outs for people with disabilities. So the law was really far too restrictive at first. So then they made these carve outs or exceptions under 1396P D4A and 1396P D4C. If all of the requirements of D4A or D4C are met, this exception applies, and the person with disabilities can transfer assets to the appropriate D4A or D4C trust and not be assessed a transfer penalty. And the assets in those trusts aren't considered an available resource to them, and they can still access those funds and qualify for the government benefits, the means tested government benefits. So the purpose of the exception is to allow a person with disabilities to retain access to funds to support them while also obtaining Medicaid or SSI or other means tested benefits. So these exceptions, D4A and D4C, are most commonly referred to as your first party special needs trust. That's a D4A, and the pooled trust. That's the D4C. Collectively, we commonly refer to them as the special needs trusts, though there are more, as you'll see, than just the D4A and the D4C. So some of you might be wondering, okay, we've got D4A, we've got D4C. Well, what about D4B? So for those of you who are in this practice area, that is your Miller Trust or your qualified income trust. The D4B is what allows us to become income eligible for Medicaid when our income exceeds the income limit. So that while that trust exists, it's not really pertinent for our special needs discussion today.